Thanks to the internet, we are being told more and more often how to hyper-optimize our life. We're being told how to be more productive, healthier, happier, or how to be more present in our everyday life, or in other words, just how to be the perfect human being. But with most of us living normal lives and not getting paid to stay healthy or to be on social media telling other people what they should do, this overload of information can make it really difficult to know where exactly to start. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tyler Warlow, and I make videos on things I wish someone had taught me when I was younger. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about the basics of what you can do to live a longer and healthier life. All of these things are things that when I changed them helped me to feel better in the long run. And honestly, they are the fundamentals that will do 80 to 90% of the work of helping you live a healthy and happy life. If this sounds interesting to you, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Literally one of the biggest things that you can do right now in order to start improving your health right out the gate is ensuring that you are getting enough sleep. When I was in high school, I started getting ocular migraines, and for years I never really figured out what was causing them. They would cause me to have these splitting headaches and I couldn't see anything, and eventually they became so painful that I started getting sick from them. What I didn't realize at the time was that in high school, I had really bad sleep habits. I would typically stay up to 1 to 2 in the morning just trying to get homework done, or sometimes even just trying to watch anime. And then I would get up to go to school at 6:45 in the morning. Obviously, 4 to 5 hours of sleep is not enough, but I didn't really care or realize that at the time. Once I started focusing on actually making sure I was getting enough sleep, my migraines started happening much less often. And obviously, that's not the only thing that sleep can impact. Sleep is incredibly important for both your body and your brain to be able to recover from the day that it just went through. I'm sure all of us know what it feels like whenever we get a night with only a little bit of sleep. We feel sluggish, we can't concentrate, and honestly, we might just feel more irritable through the next day. But those are just the short-term side effects. When you don't get enough sleep, your body does not have the ability to properly reset the levels of stress hormones within your body. Over time, this can lead to several long-term health issues such as increased weight gain, weakened immune system, chronic pain and fatigue, and lowered mental health. The good news is that there are many things that you can do to start improving your sleep. So if you start doing just one of these, you can start improving your sleep and then stack on them. First, try to cool down the room that you're sleeping in. Studies have a lot of evidence showing that we sleep better when we are in a cool environment. Next, you want to try and make the room as dark and as quiet as possible. Get yourself some blackout curtains, cover up some extra lights, get some earplugs if you live in a noisy city. All these things are going to help lower the chances that something is going to wake you up in the middle of the night unintentionally. And speaking of lights, you're going to next try and limit the amount of blue lights and bright lights that you are getting about an hour before bedtime. If something prevents you from really doing this, set them to the modes where they only give you yellow or black and gray light, so that way you're not bombarding your eyes with blue light right up to the moment that you go to bed. Blue light is what signals our brain to stay awake. So if you're on your phone or a computer up to the point that you need to go to sleep, your brain never really registers the fact that it is time to wind down. And speaking of winding down, try to be consistent of when you are going to bed. If you build a nightly routine where you go to bed at the same time and try to get up around the same time pretty much every day, including the weekends, your body starts to build that pattern into something called your circadian rhythm. So your body will start to expect when it should go to sleep and when it should wake up, allowing you to feel more refreshed overall when you do get up, as long as you are getting a regular 8 hours of sleep. And of course, finally, for most people out there, you should be aiming to try and get 8 hours of sleep. Now, for some people, you might need less, or you might need more. Experiment and try to figure out what works for you. But you just want to be careful about chronically not getting enough sleep. This is what causes all of those health effects that I mentioned earlier. Like I said earlier, when I started actually making sure that I was consistently getting that 8 hours of sleep, that's when my migraines started to go down. And if you just do one of these things and start working on them a little bit at a time, you'll most likely notice your sleep start to improve. Once you've got your sleep taken care of, the next thing you can do to start improving your health quickly is getting some form of exercise. As society has grown and changed, so have our lives. We have become much more sedentary as compared to our ancestors, meaning we get a lot less daily movement. And honestly, because we haven't been moving as much, it comes with a myriad of health issues that honestly are kind of too numerous to cover in just this video. But exercise is going to be important for multiple reasons. It can help you build strength, balance, coordination, and cardiovascular health. And it can even help support your mental health by helping you build mental resiliency and by helping your body to release feel-good chemicals called endorphins. These are essentially chemicals that occur naturally in the body to help alleviate pain and stress and can sometimes even lead to feelings of euphoria. My recommendation, especially for those of you that have tried to exercise before and have fallen off of it, is to find some form of exercise that you enjoy doing and start off small. There are so many different forms of exercise out there, such as weightlifting, yoga, dancing, and honestly anything that just gets your body moving on a regular basis. So many studies have indicated that even just moving our bodies for a little bit each day can be shown to improve overall health markers. Once you've gotten into some form of consistent routine and maybe you're starting to look for more, that's when I recommend you starting to advance your training and trying to do different training styles that might cover the gaps that you have. For instance, if you're someone that's doing dancing or running as a more cardiovascular based thing, you can add some strength training in there to help support that. Having a good mix of strength and cardiovascular exercises is what's really been shown to have the most benefit over the long term. But again, the most important thing here is for you to get started and get started doing it regularly. Next up, we have to talk about hydration. A lot of people think that they are getting enough water on a daily basis, and that's just simply not the case. What most people don't realize is that they're actually living in a constant state of dehydration. If you were anything like how I was when I was younger, you didn't really ever think there was any issues because you felt fine. But the truth of the matter is that's just because your body has adjusted to how you feel in that dehydrated state. The brain can do this funny thing where it adjusts how the body responds to stress over time in order to protect it. So even though you might feel fine, the real truth of the matter is that over time you are slowly damaging your body by being in this dehydrated state. Not maintaining hydration levels can cause your kidneys to have to work overtime in order to filter out toxins, which over time can lead to damage. This then leads to kidney stones or kidney failure in the long term. Obviously, this is something that is usually occurring a little bit later in life, but by taking the right preventative steps now, you can do a ton to not have to worry about that later in your life. Some other long-term impacts of dehydration are chronic fatigue and brain fog, muscle soreness and joint pain, as well as your skin prematurely aging because it's constantly been dried out. The nice thing about all of this is that this can be addressed pretty easily. Get yourself a reusable water bottle, preferably metal, and take it with you pretty much everywhere that you go. Simply having that water bottle filled with water will help you to start drinking water more often. It's generally recommended to get somewhere between 6 to 8 cups a day, but this can vary a lot depending on your age and your activity level. For instance, I try to drink 3 40-ounce bottles of water a day, but that's because I go to the gym pretty much every day. And I know some of y'all aren't gonna like this next tip, but try to avoid the overly sugary drinks like sodas or commercial coffee drinks. While you might get the temporary boost to your hydration with these drinks, all the other things that are in them, such as the copious amounts of sugar or caffeine, actually end up dehydrating you because they're diuretics. This usually means you're going to end up peeing and losing the water from your body faster than you would have than if you had just drank water. The nice additional benefit of this is that it's going to help reduce the overall calories that you are consuming. And speaking of which, the next thing that you can focus on is focusing on your nutrition. And a quick disclaimer here is that I am not a nutritionist, and what I'm about to tell you is simply what has worked for me. There's a ton of people out there that have had different things work for them. So take the information in this video with a grain of salt and know that it might differ for you. And you might have to do a little bit of experimentation in order to find what works best for you. But first, focus on getting enough protein. A good rule of thumb for you to follow is to try and get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And for some people, this honestly might be a lot of protein to try and consume. So sometimes you can go a little less. Protein helps you to repair your damaged muscles from over the day. And the nice thing is that it takes longer for your body to digest protein. So it tends to be more satiating and keeps you full longer. By focusing on your protein and ensuring that you're getting enough of it, it's going to help reduce overall cravings for other foods. Next, try to have at least 1 to 2 veggies or fruits with every meal that you're having. Fruits and vegetables are loaded with vitamins, minerals, and other micronutrients that are essential for supporting your overall health. Not only that, but they all tend to contain fiber, which is going to help support your gut health and digestion. The other benefit of them is that they tend to be pretty voluminous, with only having a few calories as comparison to a lot of other foods. So you can eat a lot more of them, feel full, and not have had as many calories. Next, just try to avoid processed foods when you can. Processed foods tend to contain a whole lot of additives in them to help make them shelf stable, as well as an excess amount of either salt, sugar, or fat in order to make them more palatable to you. But honestly, you need to find a system that works for you. A lot of times, diets end up being overly restrictive for most people. And you'll find that more often than not, when people lose a lot of weight, they will then crash, binge, and then gain it all back. This is usually because whatever diet they were following was unsustainable and wasn't realistic for their lifestyle. Next up, you're going to want to try and just slow down your eating. I used to be really bad about this. I grew up as one of 4 kids, so whoever finished first was the ones that got seconds. And so I used to have a really bad habit of eating way too fast. And so I would eat a whole bunch of food and then honestly start to feel way too full, that to the point where I would sometimes feel sick to my stomach once my stomach caught up to how fast I was eating. By eating slower, taking time to chew your food, it helps your brain register the hunger cues that your stomach gives it before you've overridden it by just shoving down more food. This will help you to realize when you're full and eat less. Everyone's body is different, so try to find what works for you and maintain it. And just remember that it is okay to have some fun and let loose every once in a while. Once I started focusing on these tips, reducing my processed food and maintaining my whole food intake, it helped me to honestly just feel a lot less lethargic, and my stomach just started feeling a lot better in general. And finally, the last big thing that I think you could do to ensure that you're going to be healthy and happy is engaging with people socially, whether that's friends or family. When I was younger, I used to be so focused on trying to achieve all these different goals that I had for myself that I wasn't really hanging out with people. I would get up at 5 a.m. in the morning so that way I would have time to get in a workout, and then I would spend all day working on classes and homework and my other goals that I had. This honestly caused me to start isolating myself from my friends, and I was just lucky enough that I had my girlfriend, my now wife, supporting me at the time when otherwise I probably would have fully isolated myself. This of course started leading to me feeling lonely and not really feeling connected with the people I cared about, which then started increasing my stress and decreasing my mental health. Once I started getting intentional about setting aside time each week to talk to or catch up or hang out with a friend, I started to feel much better. Studies have shown that spending time with people that you enjoy being around has been shown to improve happiness, especially as people get along later in life. Spending time with friends and family, specifically those who you actually enjoy being around, can help serve as a mental reset of sorts, because they can act either as a way for you to get your mind off of those things that are stressing you out, or to act as a support system and help support you through them. So start getting intentional with it. You can start small by just setting aside a little bit of time to call or talk to a friend, or you can start a little bit bigger by actually trying to go out of your way each week to go and do something with a friend. This doesn't have to be something expensive like going out and eating at a restaurant every week, but you could go to the park, go for a walk, go get a coffee. There's so many different things that you can do to engage with your friend group. Try to make this a regular practice, and I promise you, you're more than likely going to start seeing your happiness go up, which in turn supports your mental health. So like I said, all the things that I just went through are some of the biggest things that made a large impact on my health overall. Hopefully this video was helpful for you and helped guide you towards something that might be helpful for improving your health. Remember to take this journey one day at a time, because this is something that is a lifestyle change, not simply a short-term goal. But that brings us to the end of the video. If you found it to be helpful or informative at all, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to join me along in this self-improvement journey. If you have any of your own thoughts, ideas, or opinions, let me know with a comment down below. If you're interested in more videos like this one where I talk about health, be sure to check out this video right here where I talk about science-backed ways to improve your sleep. If you're more interested in my most recent stuff, be sure to check out this video right here. But until the next time, this is Tyler Warlow, signing off.